Hi everyone, this is Kristen Peoples, bossupcultureorg. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. I decided to share the story of my life because I have been an advocate for people being treated fairly at work for quite some time, and I am all about ensuring that equality, inclusion, and just people being treated fairly at work be top of mind. So that's the reason why I started my nonprofit organization, bossupcultureorg, because I was a target of workplace bullying, and I feel so strongly that this is an epidemic that needs to be stopped. So I didn't plan on filming today, but it was placed upon my heart to just kind of open up and just kind of share my story so that you understand where my passion lies and why I am so, I have such a strong voice, and why I'm out on social media every other day, just bringing awareness to this issue. This was something that I went through for 10 years, guys. I was affected both mentally and physically, and I said that in my initially PSA, but I didn't go deep into it on how it deeply affected me and how it deeply impacted my family and how it deeply impacted my health. Where do I begin? I started my career as an engineer at the age of 18, so that you can kind of get where I'm coming from and why I stayed as long as I stayed and why I endured some of the abuse that I endured, and I accepted it, so to speak. And it was at the age of 18 that I was employed at a company where I was able to live out my dreams as an engineer. Now, did I initially set out to be an engineer? No. And that is probably, in hindsight, looking back, that's probably where my first mistake was, because my first love was always fashion and styling homes and just making spaces and people beautiful. So that was always where my passion was. And of course, helping people, because that's obviously what I'm doing now. But I ended up in the engineering space, and I was promoted through the ranks over the years. I was promoted pretty quickly. And so, again, I ended up in that path following underneath what my father was doing. My father was an engineer as well, and he let me know about a program, and I was interested in it, and I was able to co-op. And then at the age of 18, I was hired in at a very big company. So I worked there for quite some time, and the first 10 years were great. I mean, the first 10 years were awesome. I was, like I said, promoted. I had great management. I had great managers. I had great coworkers. And then there was that fateful day when I ran into a coworker that I believe was intimidated by me. And typically when a person is intimidated by you, they want to bring you down to their level, so to speak. And I didn't think anything was going to come of it. I had a disagreement with this individual, and it just so happened that she was moving up pretty quickly. And there was a manager my manager, who happened to be my manager at the time, that had her back. And from that day on, my life became a living hell. I just thought it was a one and done type of incident when she and I had a disagreement. And I believe it was over something simple as an email. And then it ended up growing into something way larger than it should have been. From that point on, that particular manager, who was over both of us at the time, he threatened me and he cursed me out. He said some very ugly things to me. And I just grinned and bared it. I just tried to move past it. I remember going home and crying that day. I remember that particular manager contacting HR after he literally cursed me out, and contacted HR and tried to tell them that I walked off the job. But thankfully, I had emailed HR to let them know my reasons for leaving. And they were supposed to do their investigation on that. And there lies another problem where the bullying really began. So I was up against not only a manager who at the time became an enemy of mine, so to speak, and he joined alliances with human resources, which I know a lot of people experience the same thing. So I had to endure a lot of negative reviews. He had other managers joining alliances with him and mistreating me, and making sure that there were other positions within the department that I qualified for that I was blocked from those positions. HR also had their hand in going in and tampering with my HR file, it became a nightmare. And this went on for about a good 10 years. And I was able to, as they restructured through departments, I was able to go under another manager, but they were misled by the misinformation given by my previous manager. And since they were all in the same department, of course, they all thought alike, and they all kind of were in cahoots. And so there lied more mistreatment, more me being pulled into conference rooms, being demeaned and being talked to any old kind of way. And the effort was to push my buttons so that I would go off and so that they could fire me. And I knew that was the case. So here I am, married with 3 children, and I was used to living a certain lifestyle. And so I allowed this to continue to happen. And when I say I allowed this to continue to happen is I continued to go to work. And in my mind, I was saying I was not going to allow these people to take my job from me. But in essence, I was losing my soul. My life started spiraling out of control. So in order for me to deal with what was going on, I was coming home and I was abusing alcohol. It started off with a glass of wine a night, then it was a couple glasses, and then the glasses turned into bottles, and then it started affecting my family life. It started affecting my parenting. It started affecting just the way I looked at life in general. It affected my health in the sense that I didn't even recognize who I was anymore. I had blown up to like 45 pounds heavier than what I am now. And I had a lot of health issues. I had, as a result, 3 panic attacks on site at that particular job. One where medics had to actually come in and they were going to actually have the ambulance take me to the hospital. It was that bad. I had totally lost control over my life. So knowing that I didn't want anyone else to endure what I endured, I set out for the mission to come up with a nonprofit organization. But that was 5 years within this. So again, this had been going on for like 5 years, and it continued for a total of 10 years before my husband finally said, no more. You're not going to abuse yourself. You're not going to allow these people to continue to tear you down. My blood pressure was through the roof. My health, like I said, was suffering tremendously. And my husband said, no more. He said, I need my wife, and I can't raise these kids by myself. And these were the discussions that we were having. And I had started seeing a psychologist, and that was something that I was totally against. But my PCP, he told me, he said, you keep coming to me every time you have these panic attacks. You keep coming to me every time your blood pressure is through the roof. These people are going to kill you. This is what my doctor told me. And he said, if you keep resisting seeing a psychiatrist because of a stigma of going to see one, you're going to end up dead. And so thankfully I took his advice, and I started seeing a psychiatrist, and I started seeing a psychologist as well. And it was the best decision I ever made. And I'm glad that I did that, because it helped me sort through some of the thoughts that I was having and some of the ways that I was abusing myself. And with their help, I was able to escape what I was allowing to happen within my life. Again, I let these people take control of my mind. And once you let people take control of your mind, you have totally given up on you, you know? So the whole purpose of this video is for you to understand what it's like to be true to you. And I want you to understand that you have the power. People see within you, oftentimes when they bully you, what they want for themselves. And I totally lost track of that. I totally lost track of my self-esteem. I totally lost track of who I was as a person, who I was as a professional, who I was as a wife, who I was as a mother, who I was as a friend. All of my relationships suffered. I was very short-fused with people. Again, I hated my life. And I could go on, and I have some really deep stories. And one day I do plan on writing a book to just explain the hurt and the darkness and the depths of hell I had to walk through in order to make it to the other side. And I'm so glad that I'm here. And that is the reason why I'm so passionate about ending workplace bullying abuse, because it is abuse. Again, I was demeaned. I was pulled into conference rooms for no reason, taking me away from my work because they knew that I could get the work done. And I was just talked down to. And it wasn't just one person. I was mobbed. There were several managers, and like I said, HR was involved. And these people went through great lengths to make my life a living hell. And all I can think of was, I was thinking negative thoughts, you know, and I couldn't put my finger on what it was. There wasn't a definition until I started looking online, and then I found the definition for workplace bullying, which is the continued harassment. And it's a fine line between harassment and what workplace bullying truly is. And the bullies know that. They know what they can get away with legally. And that is the reason why my organization is working hard with legislation to ensure that workplace bullying abuse does become illegal. And I have made alliances through my research, and we are working in all 50 states to ensure that it does become illegal. So in all of this, in the midst of all this, I want you guys to know that you can get through this, but it's all in your mind. You have to say what you will accept. Just like if someone hands you a gift. If someone hands you a gift that you don't like, are you going to take it? No. You're going to say, you know what? This is not what I'm going to accept. And the same thing would apply to if you, that's the same thing that applies to what someone gives you in terms of negative energy. If someone is giving you something negative, you have to choose positive. You have to say, you know what? This person's not feeling good about themselves, and they want me to feel the hurt and pain that they're feeling. And I'm not going to get that. I'm not going to receive that gift. So I want you to understand the importance of meditation, the importance of self-love, the importance of self-respect, because when you don't respect yourself and when you don't love yourself, then that gives people the permission to not respect and to not love you. So I have a lot more of my story that I'd like to share, and I will be doing that throughout the series of these videos that I will be releasing. There's so much. Again, this was 10 years of abuse that I went through, you guys, and I'm still recovering. However, I want you to know that in me helping you, it helps me. It's all a healing process, and it's all about you loving yourself first. And then when you choose you, then no one else can be against you. Seriously. So I encourage you to reach out to my organization, because I know your pain. I know everything that you're going through. I know every trick in the book because they've tried it all. I guess you can call me the big fish that they were trying to catch. And at the end, you guys, I did win. You know, they didn't fire me. I was able to walk away on my terms. And I want you guys to know that you too, you have the power. You have the power to be who you were put on this planet to be. You were meant to be something great. You were meant to be something powerful. And I know that within myself now. And now I know why I was such a threat when I was working in that environment. So the only person that you have to blame is yourself, by allowing yourself to continue to be in a situation where people are mistreating you and people are disrespecting you. You have the power to change all that. You have the power to choose what you receive and what you don't receive. So I invite you to please stay tuned. Please like, subscribe. Please visit me at www.bossupculture.org. Again, that's www.bossupculture.org. I promise I will be true and raw to you, and I'm here to help you. I thank you very much for listening. Bye.